Yeah, what's going on, Ramon, to serving all day? How your kingdom of heaven is at hand. You know, the ruling class are insane. They off their rocker. They delirious. Instead of looking back through the annals of time and coming to a conclusion, a logical conclusion, to make a better decision with their choices, they decide to double down. They overplaying their hand. So optimistic, but it's a mistaken optimism. They spoiling a chance, their chance, to make amends. This chance has been granted by the Most High to remedy things that they have done down through the centuries. They see that the world is changing right before their eyes. They see that nature itself is turning against them even more. They're changing laws, trying to take away people's freedom of speech. And they're trying to accuse individuals, bringing up false accusations just to keep individuals from pointing out the error of their ways. We had an incident here in the U.S. The first thing they wanted to do was look at the HBCUs, digging up Martin Luther King, George Floyd. Instead of looking within, taking this opportunity to consider their ways and say, wait a minute, we've been oppressing these people, breaking them off real proper life for centuries. Instead of them looking at that and reconsidering their approach toward these people that they have so much animosity for, they decide to dig in their heels. They decide to double down and intensify the hatred. I've said it before, the Most High, Yah, has given us respite. He's given us a chance to breathe, given us a breather. When I was a little kid on the north side of St. Louis, living on Kossuth, going to Scullin Elementary School, we would start class and say our Pledge of Allegiance and all that. That's another thing. They made us say Pledge of Allegiance and to the flag. Even though I was born with no civil rights, I had to pledge allegiance. But after we did that and we start our day, dig in the books, after 2 hours, they would give us recess. We would go out and play. Recess from the classroom. Well, that is what the Most High has done for us. He's given us recess. He's given us respite. And instead of the upper echelon in society looking at that and reconsidering their actions and their ways, they decide to go all in on the Most High's people. The arrogance has gotten the best of them. Like I said, they overplayed their hand. What they want to do is condemn and convict and to bring back servitude of yesteryear. And I promise you, brothers and sisters, that's not going to happen. We see that they've fallen upon one another. What is meant for us has been redirected toward them. And instead of them looking at the current situation and coming to a logical conclusion and making a confession, well, maybe we need to just back off. No, they can't do that. They going all in. They escalating their evil actions and laws Don't even know they're doing it to their own demise. In Psalm 121:4, y'all said, Israel is mine. I'm going to turn to it and just read it so we can get understanding with what's going on here. Because these people, they think they own us. They really do. They think that we are theirs and they can do to us whatever they want to do. Y'all are not showing enough sympathy. So we need you people to be more sorry over the things that happen to us. We don't have to sympathize with you. But when something happened to us, you better be sorry and you better get down and grieve along with us. Not along with us, grieve more than we are grieving. Why? Because they think they own us. But on the contrary, in Psalm 121, verse 4, it says, Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall never sleep nor slumber. Yahweh is thy keeper, and is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out, and thy cometh in, from this time forth, even forevermore. So, the Most High, he's showing us that he's watching over us. Why? Because we are his. You want a passage of scripture that states that very assertion? Check out Isaiah, the 43rd chapter. It says, Now thus saith Yahweh, that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel. Fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine. That's what the Most High said. We are his. When you turn to Zechariah 2:8, the Most High say, we the apple of his eye. But they think they own us. But in all actuality, the Most High own us. Therefore, they are limited, and we are witnessing the grip, like Rod Stewart say, a fist full of sand. It can slip right through your hands. Their power, their grip, their stronghold that they have built against us is slipping. And what's the evidence? They falling on one another. And they're too foolish to realize time is up. Your actions have been weighed, and you're not going to have a second chance and another opportunity to rise to the top. The day is done. Can't you see it? No, you can't. Book of Judges in the 4th chapter, in the 15th verse, where this man named Sisera was so proud, so arrogant, just sassy and haughty against the Most High people. He had his fine chariot. He had an army. He had all kinds of weaponry. He went against Israel. But what he didn't take into account was the Most High always take care of his people. I just read it, Isaiah 43. You are mine. He know us. Psalm 121. He watch over us. Sisera came with all of his might and his chariots, sort of like today. We have the upper echelon that trust in their artillery and their firearms and their armaments, not even understanding that the Father's creation is more powerful than anything that any bullet, any missile, any weapon that they can produce Why? Because they use the materials, the raw materials that's in the Father's creation to make and to manufacture their armaments. So therefore, if the Most High created these things and put it in the earth, he knows, and he has the ingredient, he has the vellum to deconstruct and to break down the power of their weaponry. And so Sisera, he came against the Israelites, depending on his chariots, God, his horses, his soldiers, and their infantry. They come storming to war against the Israelites. Never thought to take into account the night before they had scheduled to strike. It rained hard and all the ground was muddy like quicksand. And they came charging in with their weaponry only for their chariots, they fine chariots there. All the money that they spent on their mighty army sunk into the ground. And Israel was given the opportunity to come in because they knew the area. They knew how to trot over that mud. And they came in and slew the army. And Sisera, he dismounted and got away. You know, in that movie Braveheart, when the man cut the throat of Mel Gibson's wife, William Wallace's wife, and he cut her throat. He had his robe on and looking all powerful and authoritative. And when the rebels took over, he running with the cape flying, with the cape hanging, trying to get away. And Mel Gibson took him and put him against the post and cut his throat. Now that's what happened to Sisera. He running, cape flapping in the wind while he trying to get away. He got to a tent, and this young damsel was in the tent, pretty. She said, "Turn in." And he turned in, and he was tired from running in all that mud, lifting his feet. He was weary. He fell asleep. The damsel took a stake and a hammer and hammered him in his temple and nailed his head to the ground. That's what happened to Sisera. But the upper echelon, they don't care about that. These stories were written for our admonition, for all of us to learn. We're reminded of another story. This man named Sennacherib was king of Assyria. And he conquered all the lands that he set foot on and came up to Israel. And he sent his cupbearer, his yes man, his high-ranking official to Israel. He sent to give them a word, and he came breathing out threats, giving all kind of intimidating remarks, and tried to coerce them into not trusting the Most High. And he messed up, man. Let me turn to it. Look at Isaiah, the 36th chapter, and 4. Now here we have Sennacherib. He came and conquered all the lands. He sent his man Rabshakeh, and told Rabshakeh, "Hey, go and let them clowns know we coming," and put doubt, want to taunt and just want to play with them before he came in to destroy and take the spoils. So he thought. Isaiah the 36th chapter. Now it came to pass in the 14th year, King Hezekiah, that Sennacherib, king of Assyria, came up against all the defenced cities of Judah and took them. And King of Syria sent Rabshakeh from Lachish to Jerusalem unto King Hezekiah with a great army, and stood by the conduit of the upper pool in the highway of the fullest field. Then came forth unto Eliakim, Hilkiah's son, which was over the house of Shebna, the scribe, and Jonah, Asaph's son, the recorder. And Rabshakeh said unto them, Say ye now to Hezekiah, Thus say the great king, the king of Assyria, what confidence this wherein thou trusted. I say, sayest thou, but vain words. I have counsel and strength for war. Now on whom dost thou trust? And thou rebelleth against me. You see, talking about who you going to trust. We got the strength. We got the artillery. Verse 6, Lo, thou trusted in the staff of the broken reed on Egypt, because they conquered Egypt. So he said, you trust in Egypt. We took Egypt out. Whereon, if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. He's saying he using his insults in poetic form. If you telling them you trust in Egypt, Egypt is like a staff that's not dependable. So is Pharaoh king of Egypt to all that trust in him. But if thou say, we trust in Yahweh, our power, is it not he whom high places, whose altar Hezekiah has taken away? Said to Judah and to Jerusalem, ye shall worship before this altar. Now therefore, give pledges, I pray thee, to my master and king of Assyria, and I will give thee 2,000 horses, if thou be able on thy part to set riders upon them. How then wilt thou turn away the face of one captain of the least of my master's servant, and put thy trust on Egypt with the chariots and the horsemen? You see how he just talking smack, too arrogant. We see that today. Y'all trust in us. When something happened to us, y'all grieve, even though we don't give two dead flies on what happened to y'all. When we grieve, y'all grieve more. They think they own us. They think we nothing. But this is a warning. Let me skip down to 16. Here's Rabshakeh still popping off. Hearken not unto Hezekiah, but thus said the king of Assyria, make an agreement with me by a present, and come out to me, and eat ye every one of his vine, and every one of his fig tree, and drink ye every one the waters of his own cistern, until I come and take you away to a land like your own land, a land of corn and wine, a land of bread and vineyards. Then he said to Hezekiah, beware lest Hezekiah persuade you, saying, Yahweh will deliver us. Had any of the gods of the nations delivered his hand out of the hand of the king of Assyria? Where are the gods of Hamath and Arphad? Where are the gods of Sepharvaim, and they that delivered Syria out of my hand? Who are they among all the gods of these lands have delivered their land out of my hands, that Yahweh should deliver Jerusalem out of my hands? You go to chapter 37 and go down to verse 10. Thus shall ye speak to Hezekiah, king of Judah, saying, let not thy sovereign one, whom thou trust, deceive you, saying, Jerusalem shall not be given into the hand of the king of Assyria. Behold, thou hast heard what the kings of Assyria have done to all lands by destroying them utterly. And shalt thou be delivered? Have the gods of the nation delivered them which my fathers have destroyed? And Gozan and Haran and Reseph and the king of Eden and the children of Eden which were in Telassar? So what you see here is Rabshakeh talking all that smack. And what Rabshakeh was trying to do, he was trying to discourage Hezekiah from relying on the Most High and depending on him. But what ultimately happened was, while they were mouthing off and when they decided to attack, divine intervention happened. Sennacherib's home was attacked while they was trying to attack the Israelites, Sennacherib's home was under attack. So he had to turn back when he got the news to his own homeland to see what was going on. When he got there, he saw it was in ruins, so he ran away. Rapshakeh, the one that was talking all that stuff, he ended up contracting some type of disease, which he deteriorated from. Sennacherib, he had to run. King of Assyria, he ran from his homeland. And years later, staying with his sons, one of his sons rose up against him and killed him. I know you two want people to say unalive. And so, Mr. and Mrs. Heathen, if you continue to ignore the warning signs, the elements, creation, even events itself, all over the world, you are pissing individuals off. You don't see what is actually taking place. The heavy hand of the Most High, the sword, destruction, is forming against you, and you don't realize it. Just like Sennacherib, Sisera, and Rapshakeh. They didn't see it. They were too busy popping off, mouthing off. Just like every time something go down, you look into those black folks. Always find a reason to come down on black folks. Always looking to point the finger, bring railing accusations against that Negro. You don't even know. Every time you do it, the elements, creation, all creation is forming a paddle, a chastisement against you. You think you got the army. You think you got the might. You think you got the laws on your side. You think you got everything working in your favor. And you creating hostilities everywhere you go, even amongst your own. You're falling and fighting against one another. And while you fighting, you looking back, trying to see where we are. And don't even know. You're making a huge mistake with your optimism. The warning has gone out, not only from this end, even events itself is dealing you a hand and you overplaying it. Y'all falling up on one another. How many times do I have to say that? When you look in every which way, you done created so much chaos, you don't know where to go. You over here, you over there, you up, you down, you around, you in, you out. When I lived in North County, the neighbor across the yard had a dog. And you can always tell at the end of the day during the school year, when the kids would get off school, they would get off the bus, and you could tell that dog, he'd jump up and was on alert, ready to bark at the kids. You had a whole slew of kids walking down the street. And he was running from one end of the gate to the other, just barking, trying to get a bark in on each and every single kid. And he did that every day. One day, there were some kids that had a bunch of rocks waiting for them. The next thing you know, those kids lit into that. I was like, my goodness. Next thing you know, that dog was running, trying to run for cover. You like that S? I call it the S dog because I used to tease it myself. I was, and he, every time he hear that S, so I named it the S dog. I would be in my bedroom, look out the window, he'd be looking around, and I just do it, and he'd just, all of you high-ranking officials, all of you upper crust individuals, those of the higher society persuasion, you really think you're going to continue to do what you want to do and get the desired outcome? You are so full of yourself, you don't see that the universe is forming itself against you. That is truly mistaken optimism. All right, that's it. That's all I got to say. Servant RD out. Peace, y'all.